to the government house of Abia State is getting hotter and hotter by the day. More and more people are declaring their intentions to contest to succeed Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu as the governor of Abia State, and his tenure expires on 29th May next year. As I speak with you, 17 aspirants have vindicated their interests. Alex Otti was born to the family of the late Pastor Lazarus Otti at Omoro village in Isialangwa South. His father was a pastor with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. He attended Ngwa High School and Secondary Technical School, Nguku, where he graduated as the best overall student in the senior school certificate examination. He left for the University of Port Harcourt, where he read economics and graduated with first class in 1988, emerging also the overall best graduating student in that year. Not done with that yet. Alex Otti went to the University of Lagos, where he got an MBA in 1994. Beyond that, he has attended many prestigious institutions of learning, which include, but not limited to, Columbia Business School, Stanford Business School, Watson Business School of University of Pennsylvania, USA, INSEAD Fontainebleau, France, and he has 3 honorary doctorate degrees from the Babcock University, University of Port Harcourt, and University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He began his banking career in 1989 with the then Nigerian International Bank. He left that for Intercontinental Bank, Society Banker, UBA, and in 2001, he joined the First Bank as the Assistant General Manager and was promoted to Deputy General Manager, responsible for the overseeing of 140 branches. In 2011, he moved to Diamond Bank, where he became the Group Managing Director, and he left voluntarily after serving the bank meritoriously, even with 6 years left. He left in 2014 to contest for the seat of the Governor of Abia State. We also know what happened in 2015, how he was declared the winner by the appeal court, and unfortunately, the Supreme Court upturned it based on the fact that the card reader was not recognized by the Electoral Act then. Dr. Alex Otti is back again to do that fight, and that is what we are going to discuss today. Ferdinand Ekeoma, let me ask you this question. They asked me yesterday after the declaration. Alex Otti contested in 2015 and lost. He came back again in 2019 and lost. Now he's back again. What is he looking for? That was the question they asked me. So, Ferdinand Ekeoma, what is your boss, Alex Otti, looking for again this time?
Well, point of correction, he contested and never lost.
Okay.
That being officially declared does not mean that one actually lost, because the facts are still public knowledge. He contested and won overwhelmingly. Unfortunately, those who were desperate to hold Abia down perpetually usurped the mandate freely given to him by the people of Abia State. So what we actually experienced was a temporary setback. And like he has always said, when you set out on a journey, of course you don't stop going until you get to your destination. Just like we got to this studio, we knew we were coming here, and we could not have stopped midway, without getting to this place. So we are going somewhere, and Abians are going somewhere with Alex Otti, and we must get to our destination this time around. We are confident that God will give us the enablement. We will do our own, and the Abians will do their own. And I can assure you, by the special grace of God, it's going to, end in victory this time around. When I say victory, I mean declaration as the governor, because it ended in victory in the past. Now, why is he running again, or what is he looking for?
That is the question. What is he looking for this time again?
He propelled his intention to leave his plum job in 2014. Everybody knows what it means to be a bank CEO. It's such an alluring job that people do all kinds of things to get it. I know a particular governor from South, then who asked him, "Are you sure you are okay?" His father-in-law, a respected senior customs officer, asked him, "Are you sure you are okay?" I can't believe you want to take this decision. But he sat, critically looked at the situation, looked at the challenges confronting Abia, looked at the pathetic situation of Abia workers, Abia pensioners and all the rest of them, and took that very audacious decision, to leave his job and come here to write our checkered history. So those challenges that have been issued propelled his decision to come and fight this battle, to leave his job, his comfort zone, to come and contest for governor. Of course, everybody knows, the nature of the Abia politics, the nature of our political environment. It's not something that people who do not have that individual conviction would want to get into. It wasn't a gamble. If it was a gamble for him, of course, he would have retreated. So workers are still being heavily owed. It has taken a more dangerous dimension. The pension arrears are increasing by the day, by the month. These are verifiable facts. Just like he rightly pointed out, unemployment rate at this point in Abia stands at 51% against the national average of 30% or 31%. And a state like Benue and Osun have average on below 12%. So it tells you that something is fundamentally wrong with Abia State. And it's no rocket science. You are not investing in critical infrastructure, the research of it. You are not creating job opportunities for our youth. So how do you want to do well? You will take loan. You won't account for it. You receive statutory allocation and internally generated revenues. You won't use them to invest and get your youth employed. You won't use them to pay your workers. Forgetting that a worker that is not paid, a pensioner that is not paid, is a threat to the society. So those are the challenges that are staring us in the face, which of course you and I still see, which Alex Otti still sees, for which he took that decision to run. And because these challenges, have not abated, of course you don't expect him to retreat. It's not about Alex Otti. There was time he made it clear, he said, if there's anybody that is saying he's better than me, that he can do the job, it must not be Alex Otti. That's the truth. If you have the capacity, the wherewithal, the willingness, the desire, the commitment, the dedication, the passion to do it, to get it right, step out and do the job. It mustn't be Alex Otti. But there are people who want to step out to be heard, to be seen, to be settled, so that they will disappear. We have experienced that in the past. So when some people want to blackmail him out of the way, we know why they want to do it. When some people want to seize the structure of political parties through the back door to stop him from running, we know why they want to do it. But God sees through the hearts of men. And we are sure that God sees through his heart. God knows the genuineness of his intents. And that is why God gave him the wherewithal. God, equipped him financially, mentally, physically to do the job. So he's coming to solve the problems which are staring you and I in the face.
Dr. Alex Otti tried it 2 times unsuccessfully. Is it wise to you that he should come back to try this time around?
The simple truth is that, one, it is within his constitutional rights to vie for the governorship of this state. Secondly, he has tried it 2 times. We all know what happened in the first time, the 2015. Everybody knows what's happened. Despite whatever anybody is saying, the truth remains that election was actually won by Dr. Alex Otti. That's the truth. Everybody knows he won. And then in 2019, it wasn't a very good outing for him. The governor was declared the winner, and then you have Uchoga being declared the second runner-up. The first runner-up was Uchoga, and then Alex Otti was now the second runner-up. But this time around, he's coming out, says he's the same position, the same office of governor. That's what he's going for. One, it's actually, I like him as a person. I've always been his ally. It's just that at a stage, personally, I felt that the APC stuff wasn't for me, that I wasn't ready to be a member of APC. The allurement to be in the APC was actually there. But nevertheless, personally, I felt that as a person that I was more inclined towards what the APGA believes in than actually going towards APC. That's why I made a declaration and I got the APGA form to contest under the All Progressive Grand Alliance to go for the member representing Abia Central State constituency in the Abia State House of Assembly. And it's a decision I don't think I will never regret. But then generally, when it comes to Dr. Alex Otti, he's a man everybody loves to love. You know, I don't say love to hate, because ordinarily, despite the fact that I'm in APGA, I still have high regards for him. I still have high great love for him. Maybe Alex Otti will change the narrative. That is what some of his praisers say, that he may change the narrative. But nevertheless, he as a person, I hold him in high esteem, and I think that if he is the governor, he will do so well.
Ferdinand Ekeoma, I told you that I'll be hitting you hard. Okay. Now let me ask you, do you think Alex Otti still has what it takes to be a threat to the ruling party in Abia State today? He was a threat in 2015. Nobody can deny that. But do you still think he is a threat?
We are talking about Abia State, for example. Abia State is being ruled by the PDP, not by the APC. And you can see the tragedy of leadership you and I are experiencing. If you go to Borno State, the terror-ravaged state of Borno, the governor has declared to the contest, and I'm being told, I researched, I found out that nobody has declared to run against him across party lines.
Because he has done well.
Because he has done fantastically well. Is he of which political party? The APC. This is a man that had pushed Boko Haram terrorists to the forest, and to the extent that most of them flee the state and started moving to other parts, of even moving to Cameroon. So what it tells you is that the individual is like the superstructure upon which all other structures stand. If you have a governor that knows what he's doing, he will write the history of this place. Doesn't matter the political party he belongs to. But then again, let me also state that the unpopularity or unacceptability of the said alleged unpopularity of APC is being exaggerated in the southeast. Nobody can deny the fact that we had not been fantastically treated. I'm talking about Nduagu. Good. But we have to be very intelligent and smart in our decisions this time around. We have to be very, very careful. The PDP, which we have been supporting since 1999, can anybody point at what they have done in the southeast? Can anybody point at anything? Even when we had somebody we said is our brother Jonathan as president, nothing on ground. You had most of these federal roads untouched. Nothing, no infrastructure. Today you have people in area enjoy power supply, cuts of the federal government, APC-led federal government. You know, I don't want to. You look at the Second Niger Bridge, you look at the Onitsha Enugu Express, you look at many, critical roads. Lots of things are coming up. So I'm not telling you APC has its own challenges to a very great extent, no doubt about that. But the way, if we sit down to articulate this thing very critically, you find out that there are a lot of fallacies going out there. And that is why most voters, especially in the rural areas, are far more intelligent than we think they are. When the time comes, they will vote you based on who you are. They will not
on your individual basis.
Of course, I vote in my village. I vote in my village.
So
what
is Alex Otti still a threat?
Election. I'm coming again. A federal House of Reps election was conducted here last year. APC took part in the election, PDP took part in the election, APGA took part in the election, and APGA had a very popular candidate in the person of Destiny Nduagu. What happened? APGA came a distant third. APGA came distant third in that election. Why didn't we ask ourselves why? In 2016, when Alex Otti was still in APGA, a local government election was conducted in October. APGA sold chairmanship form, had chairmanship candidates in the 17 local governments of Abia State, had councillorship candidates in almost over 184 INEC wards of the state. Fast forward it to last year, so to 2020, December 2020, when another local government election was conducted, when Alex Otti had left the party, APGA had no single chairmanship candidate. Why? Because the person who was doing the mobilization, the person people trusted, the man that had the followership and the structure, had left the party. So these are things we must take into consideration. And when the time comes, nobody will want to go and vote for a party that he might not be sure that the vote will be protected. So we are prepared. And of course, our brother that is here is popular, acceptable, and definitely the people would want him to represent them when the time comes, and we are confident about that.
So do you still believe that Otti is a threat to PDP-led?
Not just a threat, he's still equipped, he's still prepared, he's still the beautiful bride. They know he is a threat, and that is why they have been praying that he doesn't get a ticket. He's a dogged fighter, he's prepared, he has what it takes, he's not looking up to any godfather to come and finance his election. He's a man that built an institution. So he is the beautiful one. He was a man that used his position in the corporate world to impact very positively on Abia. The facts are there. But when they want to paint him black, they will come up with all kind of fabrications, and you think that these things are true. So he has what it takes. He is a creator. He's a man who has proven that he has the ideas on how to empower people. He created job opportunities for people, for citizens of these states.
I'll ask you a question.
Example, because when you say whether he's still the man to be, there are things we must drive home. And that is the things that must convince the people to support the man. As a banker, for example, in the bank, as an executive director in First Bank, you didn't mention that when you were doing your analysis. Alex Otti sat down. Look at the challenges confronting them. There are many businessmen and women in Abia who benefited immensely from him. But because there are people people who are running the election, if I mention the name, you will be shocked. I'm talking facts, and I'm ready. Any day, any of their supporters or sponsors, I will mention the names, mention what Alex Otti did, and mention those who were employed by Alex Otti in the bank who are doing very well. I mentioned people who were empowered heavily by Alex Otti. I said, even people in Abia State government, people who are working for Abia State government, who are rich, who are aspiring today. I will mention it here on air, and you will be shocked. I will show them up with facts. He came to Arochukwu, started the branch of First Bank, because people were moving from Arochukwu to Aba to come and do their transactions. You know the implication of that. He started one in Abreba. He started the one that is there at Isukwato. The only branch of a bank that is in the rural part of Ungwalang today was the Diamond Bank there at Owerri. Was set up by Alex Otti. But then people will move all the way from their village to go to Aba to go and do transactions. Was Alex Otti the only banker in Abia, from Abia? But he did it. He opened more than double the branches of Diamond Bank, except First Bank. There is no other bank that has more branches in Abia than Diamond Bank. Why? Because he ensured that the bank was turned around for better, and they had that opportunity to employ people. For example, the branch that was at Osisioma during the period of kidnapping was shut down. It was when he joined Diamond Bank. It was shut down for almost 2 years because of insecurity. He opened it up, got all the people that were sacked and all the rest of them restored. You saw what he has attracted. The best road networks you have in Isialangwa South was built by Alex Otti, attracted by Alex Otti. You have the ones he built in Isukwato, you have the ones he built in Arochukwu. As an individual, I can give you
he built or he attracted?
He attracted. I can give you list of people, people who are doing very well in the financial industry, employed by Alex Otti. So these are verifiable facts. So our people are convinced, they are intelligent enough to know that this man is not a noisemaker. The only time you hear him talk is when he wants to confront the government on issues that border on governance.
I am going to ask you after now,
okay,
how he left the bank, because the narrative he painted yesterday with me and the one you are painting now is different from what we hear from somewhere.
It's okay.
I will ask you whether he voluntarily resigned or he was forced to resign. Barrister Emperor Bonna,
Yes,
you are going to the House of Assembly.
by the grace of God.
Do you see Alex Otti being a good governor with you in the House of Assembly?
I think so. Honestly, the man. I have to be. Anybody who knows Emperor will tell you that I'm an honest person. I try my best to be very honest. Alex Otti has actually done very well. He's an administrator. He was able to administer the bank both in First Bank and in a Diamond Bank when he was there. And nobody can actually point that he has. There is no allegation against him in any way. But the truth about it is that there are so many things that comes to play when it comes to politics. So many things comes to play. Just like in 2015, he came out and he ran under APGA, and we all saw what happened. the party have a lot to play. The individual has a lot to play. The politics is all about a synergy between the individual and the party. Sometimes the party overrides the decision of the people. Sometimes the decision, the individual control the decision of the people. So it's a lot of, it depends on how you play the game. But never, generally speaking, I am of the opinion that if he's there, he will do well as a governor. There is no doubt about that. But then, in politics, is doing well does not just depend on you as the governor. It also has a lot to do with the people who are there with you, both in the executive and in the legislature. Just like in Abia State, we have a situation whereby APGA had so many candidates in 2015, when so many members of the House in 2015, but later most of them decamped to PDP. Now in 2019, we had three. We had Mike Okoha in Arochukwu. We had Abraham Oba in Aba, and we had in Aba Central, and we had Obi Nichita in Aba South. Fortunately, Abraham Oba and Mike Okoha, they decamped to PDP. Mike decamped to APC. Yeah. Abraham Oba decamped to PDP, leaving Ichita there. Now, and that is the reason why that house, headed by Ikuku, headed by Chinedoja, that house has been a monumental failure. Let us be honest to ourselves. Do you know, as I'm speaking to you right now, that house is locked. It's under lock and key. Lock and key, because they wanted to impeach. I think they wanted to impeach Deputy Speaker or somebody else. Deputy Speaker, and then the house. How can a house be on lock and key? And we are talking about the democracy. And then the same people that locked down the house are thinking about going for federal house. They want to still contest. The reason why the government, as we have it today in Abia State, just like what is happening, Uchoga said he's trying to come out, and people are asking, why is it that you never said anything all the 7 years that the governor was in power, and we saw what was happening in Abia State? Nothing, you're not saying anything. The reason is just clear. The reason why the government in Abia State is doing the way they're doing is because there is no strong opposition from the House. What I'm actually saying is that whether Alex Otti wins, whether Greg Ibe wins, or whether any other person wins as the governor, we need a strong House of Assembly. We need people in the House of Assembly that can tell the governor the truth. That, my man, you're not doing well. Look at this area you are neglecting. Look at this area you ought to put your mind in. So, for a governor to do very well, the summary is that you need people in the opposition, both ways, either in your opposition or in your party, that will tell you the truth. That is why it is very, very important that we don't just eulogize a particular person, say it is this person alone that can solve the problem, no. But rather, the variables, the people around you. If you have a House of Assembly, the kind of House of Assembly we have now, with all due respect, even if it is Alex Otti that is the governor, even if it is the Greg Ibe, if it is anybody that's the governor, no matter how good he is, a House of Assembly, at the kind of House of Assembly you have now, that governor will fail. Because let me tell you the reason. Aristotle says something, say that he that says that law should rule, says that God should rule. He that says that man should rule has the character of the beast. Appetites have that character. There is a devil that possesses leaders and turn them to evil, even if they were the best of men. What am I telling you? If absolutely, say that absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you have a governor who has put the House of Assembly in his pocket, even if he was the best of men, he will become an animal. The reason is simple, because he has absolute power. That is why, audience, why we are looking for anybody to be a governor, we should also consider those who are going to rule with him, because those people are the ones that will determine the course he will go. Especially whereby a governor brings out a particular thing to do, and nobody is opposing it. Nobody is critical about what he's doing. Nobody is analyzing what he's doing. In the end, he cannot be a good governor. So the summary is that we need a balance. That's what the Englishman calls it, checks and balances. You have the executive, you have the judiciary, and you have the legislature. The judiciary interprets the law, the legislature checks the governor. But especially whereby you don't have in Abia State today, we have a House of Assembly that has failed. It has failed.
And do you see yourself in that opposition first in less than a minute?
Yes, I will. Whether it is my party that is in power or whether it's a legislature that is in power, I will always give the best. And anybody who knows me, I'm a rational person. I cannot take a decision because this man is my power or in my party or not in my party. No, I will look at it critically. And if what the governor is doing is good, we support him. If it's not good, we tell him, okay, you're not good at it in this area. So in summary of just a question you ask, we need a critical House of Assembly to put the governor in check. Otherwise, even if you are sent, you cannot be a good governor without checks and balances.
Thank you. What you are saying sounds like music to me, but my only problem is this is what we hear. But by the time they get there and some bags of Ghana must go filled with money passes or exchanges hands, the music changes.
Let me answer you. No, wait. Let me answer you what you said.
I didn't say you're going to be like that.
You made the accusation.
Okay.
Let me answer you.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me, when I came out from detention, I'm speaking, when I was arrested by the government and I was detained in Afara prison for 2 months, and I was taken to DSS custody and I was in detention. That same prison, that same cell, Eko 2, where Nnamdi Kanu is currently staying now. I was in that room for 5 months. When I came out, some people, let them deny it, from this government, tried to bring me in to come and be with them. I had so many offers from so many people trying to lure me, trying to bring me in to join them. But I said no. If I had wanted money as a lawyer, if I wanted money as an activist, I would have joined the government. But I said no, because I don't support what is going on in the States. So what I'm saying is that anybody who knows me, I am a lawyer. I am doing well as a lawyer. I have 8 lawyers in my chamber. I have 4 staff in my office. I don't need that kind of money.
Thank you. Ferdinand Ekeoma, I was about asking you about the story we heard, we keep still hearing. Since after his declaration, I've heard that Dr. Alex Otti was forced to resign. He didn't live there of his volition. How true or how false is that?
Well, that is... I think I wrote something about. I said what you hear in Abia, when you look at the people they even deploy to go and attack Alex Otti, it sounds like we are. Well, I say Keke rider is analyzing the skills of a pilot.
Okay, Keke rider analyzing the skills of a pilot.
That's interesting.
He will make a mess of it.
So it's embarrassing. First, let me read out something here. Is an official statement issued by Diamond Bank.
Okay, I want to hear it.
When Alex Otti and the BOT chairman of Diamond Bank, the revered Igwe Nemeka Achebe, the BO of Onisha, said, we are pleased to announce, let me just go there. We are pleased to announce the appointment of Mr. Uzoma Dozie as the new Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Diamond Bank PLC, in consonance with the bank's succession strategy and in recognition of Mr. Dozier's wealth of banking knowledge, expressing that the outgoing GMD, so CEO Alex Otti, will be sorely missed. Igwe Achebe extolled Dr. Alex Otti's enviable achievements in the bank, describing his tenure as the brightest years of Diamond Bank's 24 years history. Under Dr. Alex Otti's stewardship, Diamond Bank made a remarkable return to profitability and has continued a remarkable return to profitability. Go back to their history and look at losses and look at where the bank was before Alex Otti came. Under Dr. Alex Otti's stewardship, Diamond Bank made a remarkable return to profitability and has continued to record impressive growth across all performance indicators year on. After writing off toxic risk assets, which resulted in the loss of 16 billion in 2011. That was before Alex Otti joined the bank. The bank posted a profit before tax of 28.36 billion in 2012.
Under Alex Otti.
And 32.5 billion naira in 2013.
You stop at
the
that.
The bank also saw its total assets rise from 564 billion to 1.118 trillion. Open branches, including London, West Africa.
All right, that is. But let me ask you also.
Voluntarily retired.
He was not forced.
You could not have forced your best to leave now.
Alex Otti has been
You have to am on air, and let me mention one of those who left the bank immediately. Alex Otti left, and that is Aliko Dangote.
All right.
So I'm talking facts.
Why has Otti jumped from one party to the other?
Because of Alex Otti, they know his managerial skills and acumen. So why has he done what?
He left PDP for APGA and APGA for APC. People are asking, why is he jumping from one party to another?
Even the man that is not doing well as governor here was a member of PDP. From PDP to PPA, he joined his boss, former Governor Joseph Carlo. From PPA, he joined TA to APGA. From APGA, they did a back tumble back to PDP. A lot of people had done that. Alex Otti was a non-active member of PDP, and one of the reasons people that made him to join PDP was former President Goodluck Jonathan, his friend.
So he didn't leave because he lost the tickets.
He didn't even contest for the primaries. He didn't contest. He didn't take part in the primaries of PDP.
That answers the question.
And as a man who was occupying such a valuable position in the bank, he didn't even have the time.
So what will Dr. Alex Otti do differently if he elected? That should propel Abia to elect him.
His motto in the corporate world: consistent performance, consistent, excellent performance. And in 2015, when he joined the market waters of Abia politics, where no politician had ever won any election, APGA had an official House of Assembly seats of 11. Those that were, I'm not talking about those that were fraudulently taken away from them. 11. You know what that means? And one the Aba North and South Federal Council. And that Aba North and South, where no opposition had won the governorship election, Alex Otti swept both of them. Overwhelmingly, had more than 80% of the votes cast in Aba North and South. These are facts. So, he has what it takes. He can do well. He has the ideas. Go and read his speech of yesterday. Nobody had done that. Where chronicled, where stated how he would do it. He has the knowledge, he has the contact, he has the skills, has the exposure. Our former Governor Professor Chukuma Soludo, that was just elected a few weeks ago, engaged him in his transition committee. And in that transition committee, chaired by Dr. Obi Ekwesili, appointed him as the chairman of subcommittee on economy. He was deputized Professor Pat Utomi in that committee, subcommittee. And of course, you know who Professor Pat Utomi is. Of course, he's ahead of Alex Otti. But you know what it means for Alex Otti to chair a subcommittee where Pat Utomi is. After that job, so go and listen to what Professor Chukuma Soludo said about him. So, he is one of our best. He knows what to do. He has the capacity, he has the resources, he has the wherewithal, he has the network of contact. It is your integrity, it is your capacity that will be your biggest collateral as governor. So when you go to Europe, America, and Asia, John Ketin asking investors to come, all they need to do is to Google Abia State. Google about you, Google about what is happening in Abia, they will just ignore you, call your bluff. But what the Alex Otti, they know what that means. And of course, they will have the confidence, the trust. They won't believe that anybody will bring them here to defraud them. They will come here and invest. But before that happens, you will need to invest in infrastructure. You need to do something wonderful in government.
Thank you, Alex Otti's special media aide. But does APGA still have a chance in Aba, based on your assessment? Because APGA wants, from what Ekeoma said, with Alex Otti in APGA swept Aba, House of Assembly, House of Reps during the governorship. But in the last election, APGA candidates came a distant third. I am quoting Ekeoma. Do you still see APGA as having a chance in Aba?
Wait now. Let me just answer it. First of all, in 2019, Alex Otti was the APGA candidate, and he still came a distant third. Using the word, so if I am not bringing Alex Otti down anyway, but if Alex Otti had that golden fleece, why did he not come second? Uchoga, who is not as bright as Alex Otti, came second. In 2019, Alex Otti and APGA came third.
Uchoga will spare you.
No. I'm just trying to say something. Based on what my brother said. Alex Otti is good, but let me tell you the truth. Let's just be honest to ourselves here. First of all, in Nigerian politics, in Nigeria, with all due respect to APC has taking us very backward when it comes to politics in Nigeria. When it comes to economy, when it comes to security, when it comes to infrastructure, APC has taken Nigeria backward. And it's the party has brought so much division in Nigeria. So much division that...
We are discussing APGA now.
I'm coming. Now, let us talk about PDP. PDP in Abia State has taken the state very backward. PDP, Godfather politics. Look at Nana Wafo is coming out, Ncheta is coming out, Chima Abenso is coming out. All of a sudden, we hear of Prof. Kone. Who is Prof. Kone? What has he ever considered an election? A man who is retired as a teacher. You are telling him to come and be a governor. A man who had a political structure. Who had no political structure? Now, we have Ikone who is there. But in the end, we have PDP government in Abia State. The states have been messed up. Go to Abia North. There is no evidence that Okezi Bazu was the governor. Totally. I'm talking about generally in Abia North. In my village of Item, I have asked the governor this question. I asked him this question personally when he came to the house. I said, what about this issue of Abia North? What have you done for people of Item and the rest of them? No, the question is that right now in Abia State, PDP has failed Abia State. That is the truth. And PDP has failed Abia State so much that campaigning about PDP becomes a problem because the party has failed Abia State. APC has failed Nigeria, but APGA is the only hope. Let me tell you why I say APGA is the only hope. Go to Anambra State. Look at the way Soludo is handling this issue of sit at home, this issue of unknown gunmen. The other day, the people of Anambra State went with their governor to go and ransack some dens of ESN. Not ESN, but unknown gunmen. In the end, we see a people flowing with their governor to do certain things great. Soludo has done so well, so far, so well in Anambra State. Now, coming back to Abia State, we have the likes of Gregory Ibe. Gregory Ibe is the owner of Gregory University. The man is sound. If you see him on one-on-one, he's sound. We have Etigwe Owa, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who wants to be the governor of Abia State. We have who else? We have Ijoma, Dr. Ijoma. I think this is a Major General. A Major General that has distinguished himself in the Nigerian army. We have people who wants to be governor under APGA. And let me tell you, in Aba, I don't want to boast, but tell me a candidate who is better than Emperor Obonna in Aba Central. I'm not trying to boast. I know my stand. I know who I am. Which candidate can tell the government the truth in Abia State? In Abia State.
Except Emperor Obonna.
Except Emperor Obonna. That's the truth. Gabriel Emperor Obonna. That's the truth. So what I'm saying is that right now I was with the chairman of APGA. He told me, Emperor, you are the new face of APGA.
All right. Thank you very much.
Let me just say this. In conclusion, my brother, APGA has a lot to offer Abians.
Thank you very much.
APGA is the third. APGA is the alternative.
Thank you
now
very
that
much.
APC and PDP has failed us, APGA is the only remedy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our lives are already buzzing. People want to make their contributions.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, my name is Kuboy. I'm calling from Aba.
Go ahead.
Right now, I thank you for both you and your journalists, the way you guys have handled this program. Thank you for a very wonderful time.
Thank you.
Let me just take my point. Dr. Alex Otti is a good candidate, but the problem we have, like the last speaker said, is this party platform of the feelings. How can we contest a party that have run Nigeria so far? A party that have beat Nigeria, a party that have got tears into the eyes of whole Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria. Nigeria have failed to the extent that when you go to the whole world, Nigeria is second in corruption. How can we contest in such party? And I for Abia State, we want to recreate Abia. We want to rechange Abia. We need another party that can be equipped to change Abia. How can Dr. Alex Otti went to APC? Well, we all know that APC have failed Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Problem we had with you.
Respond, please, Ekeoma.
Okay, my brother, like I said earlier, that PDP has done more harm to us than even any other political party. That's the truth in Igbo land. That, considering the support, because there's a difference between a party you didn't support and a party you have supported. You have massively supported PDP, and PDP betrayed you. And now, that is why I'm warning that we have to be very careful. But we really need to be very careful this time around. In 2023, the APC had made it very clear that they are zoning their presidential tickets to the south. And when they say south, it's southeast or southwest or south.
South.
So it is definitely not going to the north. So what it means is that the person that will fly the flag of APC will come from our side. And it means that the structure of APC will leave the north. So if Buhari is the problem or anybody from the north is the problem, that person will cease to be in charge of APC. It's important. So if PDP gives his presidential ticket to Atiku, and for example, Rotimi Amechi or Umahi gets the ticket of APC,
I refuse to vote for him.
Good. That's what I want to ask you.
So the North will also take it over again.
Good.
Thank you very much.
So that is why we have to be very careful.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you, brother.
My name is Easy. I'm calling from Ungwa Road.
All right, Easy, you have 30 seconds.
I want to thank the gentleman that is in the studio there. They have speak very, very well. But my problem with Nigerian politics is that the way it sounds, especially on the media, is not the way action used to be if they are elected. speak and sound interested because they want to go in, sit on the seat. But after that, what they promise on the media is not what we have.
Sorry about that. President Perobona, you're parting shots.
Yes, I just want to tell
You have
people
30 seconds.
Please, you go and get your PVCs. You know, the era of rigging election is almost coming to an end. Go and get your PVCs and vote. In Aba, we will rescue Aba. Me personally, if God helps me to win the election, you will see the difference. Anybody who knows Emperor, it's not a matter of talking. I have paid the price in this state. I was the one that led the protest in Umuahia over some people when they were accused of stealing. I asked the EFCC to investigate and they wanted to kill me. I have taken so many cases in court against the government and I have won. So what I want you to know is that it is not a matter of talking. Anybody who knows Emperor knows that I do what I say. So I want to encourage us, let us go and get our PVC so that we can vote and have a say. Thank you.
My good brother and friend, Ferdinand Ekeoma, your parting shot.
Alex Otti is not looking for money. He's not looking for comfort. He's not looking for a political position to enjoy himself. He wants to have the platform to serve you with your own resources. The truth is that states are going for their best, and we must not make that mistake again. We must be firm in thinking. We must be far more reasonable than we had ever been at this point in time. Do not lack. As time goes on, they will brainwash you, deceive you, tell you that APC is hell. If you buy it, you will remain in the same situation. Many pensioners have lost their lives. Students that are out of school because their parents are not being paid to also pay their own school fees. There are fundamental problems confronting Abia State, and this is the right time to confront it headway and defeat it. And Alex Otti has proven his mettle. He's the beautiful bride. If people in Anambra and other states are cutting him and telling you he's your best, then you have to be very reasonable. Soludo didn't win because he contested under the platform of APGA. Don't make that mistake. If APGA had fielded another candidate in that election at that point in time, APGA would have lost. That's the truth. After there are heavy challenges in APGA. So it's not about a political party. You have to be very, very careful.
Thank you.
So come out at the appropriate time. We're not campaigning yet, but we're telling
It is not yet time for campaign. We're analyzing issues. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of the Village Square this evening. Remain law abiding. Until then, I am Dr. Stanley Nduagu, your host. Bye.